Hi there. Today we're going to talk about each of the influences of the style of management and leadership and all of the factors which basically influence the management style. First of all, the first factor, of course, is the tradition and history of the organization that you're working for. For instance, in the case in the UK retailing business, you have John Lewis, which of course are all of the people who are working for John Lewis are partners within the business. They are part owners of the business, and therefore, an autocratic management style for them will not work that well. It is very much democratic, and lots of people will, of course, try to get their input in certain decisions within the business. Secondly, the second factor is the type of labor force that you have within the business. If, let's say, you have a labor force which is either unskilled or low skilled, at that moment in time, you will probably have a much more autocratic management style, while on the other hand, if you have, let's say, a highly skilled workforce, at that moment in time, you should be looking more at a democratic or even a laissez-faire approach in managing those people. Thirdly, of course, you're looking also at the nature of the task. Is it an urgent task or is it a long-term task? And also, of course, the timescales that are involved. At that moment in time, if the nature of the task is, let's say, very short, you should be looking at an autocratic management style, while if it is more of a long-term project and it is more creative, you should be looking more at either a democratic management style or even a laissez-faire. And of course, last but not least, is the personality of the leader and the manager. So for instance, if you have a manager or leader who is a great communicator, at that moment in time, they could be looking more at a democratic management style, while on the other hand, if the personality of the leader is, let's say, much more decisive, at that moment in time, they could be looking more at a autocratic style of management. The most important thing is good managers understand all of this, and they understand also that you need to have a range of management styles in order to get the job done. And of course, that is your effective management style. An effective management style is a style which allows the organization to meet its business objectives within the agreed timescale. That is very important. Good managers understand that, and therefore they will use a wide range of management styles. So for instance, one of the things that we can look at is if you have an autocratic management style, what are the business situations in which this style is appropriate, and in what business circumstances is this maybe not such an appropriate management style. So for instance, if speed is of the essence, at that moment in time, autocratic management style will most probably work for you. Secondly, if you are in a crisis management situation where you need to have the whole organization on the same message, at that moment in time, again, you should be looking at an autocratic management style. And last but not least, if also you have, let's say, a workforce which is maybe low skilled at that moment in time, autocratic management style absolutely also will work for you. If, however, the task that you have in front of you is maybe more long-term, creative, and maybe needs input from different parts of the organizations and therefore need different skills in order to get it done, at that moment in time, you should be looking more at a democratic or a laissez-faire approach to that particular task. Also, of course, if you are managing a group of self-motivating, creative, highly skilled individuals, at that moment in time, you should not use an autocratic management style. And last but not least, if, let's say, you are in the process of training up junior managers, at that moment in time, again, you should be looking at a laissez-faire or a democratic approach and not an autocratic approach, because that potentially could work counterproductive in that particular situation. So as a conclusion, a good leader understands the abilities and also the strengths and the weaknesses of all the subordinates, of all the people working for him or her, in order to make sure that they can get the best out of them in order to get a particular business objective reached. And secondly, a good leader also makes sure that they have the support of the subordinates, i.e. the people working for them, as well as the people in whom they are reporting into, i.e. into their senior management. They also have to make sure that, of course, they have the support there in order to get the task accomplished. I hope this makes sense, and I'll speak to you soon.